Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, third hour kicking off right now on this Friday morning of May 8th. Thanks for hanging out with us. We've got a little local sports roundup coming your way, a little AJM Automotive, Pump the Brakes, Full Throttle. But we're going to kick off this hour like we normally do on a Friday at 8 o'clock with a little cream of the crop. So, Brandon, cream of the crop. Who is your pick for this week's cream of the crop?
I'm going to go with something that has a sports impact, also doesn't, but I mean, we can focus on the sports end of things. I'm going with Ted Turner.
Okay.
Passing of Ted Turner earlier this week, someone who was very important. I mean, you can even just look at the sports landscape. Own the Braves, own the Atlanta Hawks, own the Atlanta Thrashers when they were in Atlanta. Has the connection to the pro wrestling world. Was a champion yachter as well. But like just someone that was very influential in a lot of ways. Like definitely kind of one of those billionaires who it wasn't like they just did one thing and that's how they made all their money. He kind of
managed a game.
Yeah, he even managed a game for himself, after firing a manager and putting himself out there. But like thinking of the impact of like, I mean, I can even think about like when the Braves were on TBS.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Like the 7:05, the 6:05 start there. Like starting all the events starting like 5 minutes after the hour was just kind of a clever way to just kind of get off sequence, and. To kind of see the influence of that and how that kind of crept into other things. Like, I don't know, he's always been someone that's been just been very interesting to me.
I think, too, because, I still can remember the promos, in my head. And I just wonder for a lot of, again, maybe people our age, because I know quite a few people our age, their favorite player is Chipper Jones. And I wonder if it was from something like that.
Well, and you hear a lot of people that are Cubs fans because they watched on WGN.
Yep. Those were the two I had.
And I remember watching a lot of Braves games on TBS. Just watching.
Yep. Yeah, because that was what we had.
That was what was on. Yeah, it wasn't as easy to find. So, I mean, and then, obviously we can talk about the, NBA on Turner, kind of that impact and stuff, and that's part of it. And just, just always been someone that's been very interesting to me.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to go just something from a little bit last night. Badger softball upsetting Oregon softball in the Big Ten conference tournament. So Oregon's, I mean, you're always talking about them when you have softball and such. So Badgers picking up a nice win. Most wins they've scored in a Big Ten conference game, 11. So 11
most
and 9.
runs.
Yeah. So nice work, Badger softball. So. All right, that's our cream of the crop. Do you want to, since you have it up, should we do some local sports roundup?
Yeah, we can pop into this.
Brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center.
Right. And I always feel challenged when I do this in the spring just because there's so much going on at once. And I there's so many things that go on during the spring that I always feel like I'm missing something, and I don't like that. So that's why, it's always tough when you talk about this in spring because we can talk about. There's so much we can talk about, but yet I always feel like there's something I'm missing. So
don't yell at Brandon, is what he's saying.
No one has done that. It's just that it's just how I feel.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, in the Big Rivers last week, when we were talking last Friday, Hudson had kind of we'll start with baseball. They're still atop the conference, but last week they picked up 2 wins over Chippewa Falls, and then last Friday night, Chippewa Falls came back after losing a pair of games to the number 1 ranked team in the state in Hudson, and they came back and picked up a couple wins over the team that I believe was number 5 at the time, Stevens Point. So, and Chippewa Falls then came back this week, and they've got 2 wins over Rice Lake under their belt. So, they're battling right now with River Falls, who they have a win over, and then they have actually another game that was stopped in progress due to weather. But they're going to have to, finish up here at some point. But, those are kind of the teams battling near the top. You had Eau Claire North up there as well. But, right now, Hudson has really established itself as kind of that favorite for in Division One for the postseason. Which, keep in mind, once we get to that point, the sectionals this year is actually at Casper Park in Chippewa. So, So no
relation,
no chat. No, it smelled different, despite what some people may think when they reach out to you.
Oh yeah, believe me. So,
but when we get there, for baseball in the Clover Belt, we got Elk Mountain and Fall Creek tied atop the conference right now. Regis high on their heels. Cadott hanging out with a 4-4 record. But yeah, and I mean, we're going to have some. I mean, we're really kind of getting down to it. I mean, we've got a couple, Clover Bell games today, including Stanley Boyd at Regis. But then next week, we kind of get into the last week of the regular season. Mm-hmm. As far as conference games go, I think there's still room in there afterwards. But I mean, you're going to have Elk Mound taking on Cadott for a couple. Cadott's got a win over Regis this year, and you got Fall Creek taking on Stanley Boyd for a couple. So, right now those are the two teams at the top of the West. Elk Mound, the new kid in town, but the team that was a game from state last year. Fall Creek shared the conference championship with Bloomer last year. Has a lot of heavy hitters back. They've kind of had a knack so far this year with seeming to pitch no hitters. I mean, Fall Creek's got several of those on their docket, and whenever you've got pitching, you're going to have a chance, especially as to how it bodes for the postseason, where all of these teams, except for Bloomer, are going to see each other again probably because they're all going to be Division III, except Bloomer, who's Division II.
Okay.
So in softball, a couple big wins this week for Chi softball over New Richmond. I was there Tuesday night when they picked up the 9-3 win over the Tigers, and last night they won 13-3. So they've kind of taken big control of the conference title race right now. They're 9-1 in conference. That gives them a 2-game lead over New Richmond. They've got a couple rounds of games left. So as the old saying goes, kind of their destiny's in their own hands. But the other thing to consider there too is as we get a little bit more into May, is we're going to be coming up on seeding for postseason. And right now, Chippewa Falls has got a pretty, I think them and Toma, and I guess I haven't seen too much about Superior to see where their record at, but they've been really good the last several years, is, who's going to maybe be that 1 seed.
Okay.
The 1 seed or the 2 seed. Really, if you're a 1 seed or a 2 seed, you're going to have the opportunity to potentially play at home through the sectional finals. And actually, the sectional finals this year are at Casper Park. Right. So it is possible that Chippewa could just be at home throughout, but we'll see. I mean, obviously that's a long way off, but
right.
Tomorrow they're hosting a quad at Casper Park with some notable teams there. So I mean, a chance to kind of boost their resume in non-conference play, because that's part of the the calculus too. You can go in there and say, hey, maybe we won our conference, but what are you doing against teams outside your league? And Chippewa Falls and softball always does a great job of playing high-level teams in non-conference play, not only to try to build your resume, but just to see those teams.
Right.
And softball, we're going to be setting up in the Western Clover Belt for maybe next week a pretty significant matchup. Right now, you've got McDonald with a game lead on Stanley Boyd. Last night, McDonald actually had non-conference play, but still picked up a shutout win over Augusta, who's a really good state-ranked team in Division V. And Stanley Boyd a game back after they picked up the 12-4 win over Thorpe. And those two teams meet next Thursday. And, we're getting down to near the end of the conference schedule. I mean, it's the last game of the conference season. So, I mean, whatever happens there's going to be finality to it. If McDonald can, get to that point and win again, well, obviously they're going to, be conference champions all by themselves. But Stanley Boyd still has a shot at a share. But, you've got doubleheaders next week. You got McDonald taking on Bloomer in a doubleheader. That's not going to be easy for the Macs. Bloomer is currently third in the conference. They're playing really well right now. They can really hit the ball. Their pitching is really rounding into form. So, that's going to be a challenging last week of conference play for the Macs. But, they've been strong this year, and a team in Division IV, just like Stanley Boyd in Division V, they're both state ranked. So that's one we're going to definitely be keeping an eye on. So,
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay.
You're good. But I mean, golf, we're starting to kind of
bring that up. So.
I'll say golf, we're kind of starting to get to the down to the regular season near the end here. But at the start of the week,
you're at Country Club, right?
Correct, at the Eau Claire Golf and Country Club, which always confuses me because Eau Claire Golf and Country Club's in Altoona. But yeah.
Well, our address technically is Altoona.
Right,
too,
exactly. So Altoona moves a little bit further than you think. But yeah, for the Chippewa Valley. I gotta find the Chippewa Valley Championships. I don't remember the exact name, which is a really cool tournament because it's a mix of Big Rivers, Western Clover Belt, Dunn St. Croix teams all mixed in. Your Medford Raiders are in there as well. Yep. Superior, Black River Falls. So you had 19 total teams there. So you had River Falls picking up the win by 2 strokes over New Richmond. Menominee is strong third. Hudson fourth. Bloomer and Eau Claire Memorial tied for fifth. So I think if and Bloomer has just continued to kind of control the Clover Belt slate as far as that goes, but Altoona's Elliott Skinner and Menominee's Wes Miller had tied for the top spot, medalist honors at that tourney, shooting 74, which as someone who was there walking around, that is a very impressive 74 because the weather was not kind. It was extremely blustery. Talking with a couple golfers, they had mentioned, like, hey, this is this course with this weather is not a fun combination. So being able to kind of navigate the course in that way is very impressive because, it was not easy. I mean, there was, I had seen instances where, players' bags were just blown over.
Oh, geez.
Like, it was that's how blustery it was. And then yesterday, Big Rivers meet over at Lake Wissota here in Chippewa Falls, and Rice Lake picked up the win there with Menominee and Hudson hot on their heels. So, Rice Lake has had a really strong year so far in the Big Rivers as far as Big Rivers competition goes, but 5 golfers going under par yesterday at Lake Wissota. I mean, the weather was a little more conducive to that, but Tyler Reckon from Menominee shooting a 31.
Jeez.
He was medalist, but otherwise you had Ben Vandervoort from Rice Lake. You had you had a couple others, including Eau Claire Memorial's Adam Diller, who were able to go under 36, which is very impressive. So, I mean, you can see why those teams are all near the top there. But, we're getting down to the main event here. Golf is usually one of the first, sports to go into the postseason. So, we're not that far away.
Right. Before I get to some Blue Gold stuff, kind of for anybody who didn't read your piece on, it was a great piece, girls soccer. Your latest one just a few days ago.
Right. Going back to Monday, but last weekend, and I think I had mentioned it last Friday, was UW Eau Claire had hosted the Laurie Bemnister Memorial Tournament, which is a 2-day soccer tournament. A lot of really strong teams from around the state for girls soccer playing all over Eau Claire. They're playing at Eau Claire, they're playing at North, they're playing at Memorial, and I got a chance to chat with Regis McDonald's head coach, Taylor Bemnister, who was her first year as the head coach, but the tournament is in honor of her mother, who passed away in 2021. So, and she had played in it when she's from Holman, so she had played in it as a player, and then she had worked at it as, because it's put on by UW Eau Claire, so many of the players and the coaches are involved in just the logistics of, keeping it going and, making sure everything's running smooth. And this was the first time she got to coach it. And it was, a very, obviously emotional day, day for her on last Friday when they played Eau Claire North. And Eau Claire North, picking up the 2-0 win, but just being able to kind of follow in her mom's footsteps was, it was something she was very proud of, and rightfully so. It was very emotional, but I know you could tell it was something that also meant a lot to her because her younger sister also playing for Holman. They play on Saturday, so she got a chance to kind of watch and cheer her on as well. And it's just it's something that I think it's the 4th year that they've been doing it, that it's just kind of continuing to grow, and they're pulling a lot of really good soccer teams from around the state. So it's kind of a fun 2-day event. If you ever want to go and just watch some really good soccer, that's a good place to do it.
Not only is she first-year coach, but she also still plays soccer.
Right, and that was something too that I kind of talked to her about, because it'd be easy to just say, hey, I want to do one or the other, but in helping out with some other stuff as well, and it just seems like that was just kind of something that passion for soccer was just something that she learned from her mom, and you have to have a passion to be able to put that much time and effort into something, especially obviously the sport, which can be so time consuming with all of the other stuff that goes into it. But being able to do that is obviously that says a lot to the passion that Lori had for soccer.
Yeah, it's a really great piece. Go check it out, Chippewa.com. Go out to Brandon's Twitter page, and you can see it on there too. So just again, a reminder. So the Blue Gold baseball team in the WIAC tournament fell to lacrosse yesterday. They're back at it just under 2 hours from now, 10 a.m. today, in an elimination game going up against Whitewater. Softball will begin their WIAC tournament play today, as they're going to be going up against Stevens Point. And I know the track and field teams are going to be going up or over at lacrosse at the UW Lacrosse Eagle Open too. So as we're starting to wind down those seasons. That is your local sports roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Let's take a quick break, and we'll do a little AGM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle coming up after these quick words. Looking for a great spot to unwind here in the Chippewa Valley? Then you need to check out the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire and take in the view from their gorgeous back patio. It's one of the best in town. Whether you're meeting friends, enjoying a cold beverage, or you're just soaking up a summer evening, this is the place to be. With live bands, fun events, and something happening all the time, there's always a reason to stop by. VFW Post 305, great views, great vibes right here in Eau Claire. And don't forget about their special Mother's Day buffet going on this Sunday, 7 a.m. to noon. Beef tips, bacon, eggs, ham, pancakes, French toast, breakfast potatoes, mimosa specials. All moms can enter to win a special pampering gift basket too. So it's coming up again this Sunday. Let's do some AJM Automotive, Pump the Brakes, Full Throttle. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to the Brewers game on Sunday. The main reason is Hudson wanted to see Aaron Judge. That's he wants to see Aaron Judge. So, Pump the Brakes, Full Throttle. Is Shohei Ohtani the biggest draw in all of sports? Baseball, football, basketball. Is he like if... You know what I'm trying to, like, you go to a game and try to watch. Is Shohei number one?
I'm going to say Full Throttle. Because I've been quickly trying to go through my head, like, okay, who's the biggest draw in basketball right now? Like, they have a bunch of them, but I'm not sure that there's, like, that one. Mm-hmm. Football, obviously, the NFL is incredibly popular, most popular sport, but, like, who is the number one draw? Like, you could have maybe said Mahomes, but... Has he
already kind of peaked?
Correct.
And that not in his play, but in attention.
But like 2 years ago, this would be the case. And but I'm going to say Full Throttle. I think it is Shohei, especially his two-way nature. I think
it's almost like if you can get to a game where he's pitching and hitting, it's like double bonus.
Right.
Right. Especially the way he is pitching too. So
right. But I would say Full Throttle at this point.
I think so too. I'm going to go Full Throttle. And Is baseball like right now the one? And I don't. You're right, because I was trying to think about an NFL one. And is it Bo Nix? Is it Drake May? Is it? I don't think they're that level. I'm trying to think of a younger quarterback.
Well, no, because but look, you even look at like the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, they're a very good team, but it's not like they didn't have like that one guy,
right?
That is going to head, that like, kind of pushes the cart, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But Shohei, he definitely does. Look, that's a team full of stars, but like, I don't think you could look at anyone else on that team and say that they're a bigger star than Shohei.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I argued, has it been like that for the last few years too?
I think so.
Even with the Angels and such too?
Yeah, I just think that, once he got to the Dodgers, he's actually on a team that won.
Yeah.
So it's that perfect mix of player on the right team. Mm-hmm. Because we saw in the past with like, someone like Mike Trout. And he wasn't necessarily someone that sought out the spotlight, but like obviously you look at his peak, excellent Hall of Fame player. But he's playing at a team that was meh. Mm-hmm. More specifically, he's playing for an organization that just didn't really know what it was doing.
Right. It
still doesn't.
Yeah, it's still when you can say you had Ohtani and Trout at their that Trout's peak, and Ohtani's still playing really well.
It's like and you couldn't do anything with that, like
right. Speaking of Trout, that's actually funny because that's my next one. Pump the Brakes, Full Throttle. Is Mike Trout back? Is that no home run ball?
I want to say Full Throttle just because I want him to be back. Mm-hmm. Because it would be cool for. I would say especially guys, kids like Hudson's age to just see what like how good he is. Because he's one of those guys that like, I'm sure for you when you can talk to him about certain players, you can say, oh, Michael Jordan this, and there's no context. But here, it's not like he's still playing.
Right.
You can look at Mike Trout and say, oh yeah, actually not that long ago he was the best player, and you'd be like, really? Like, oh no, yeah.
Yeah. It was like between him and Bryce Harper was like the debate.
So I would hope so, just because I think that's good for baseball.
I do too. Do you think he is like the quietest superstar of kind of what you were just referring to? Because when you talk about like he was play wise probably like a super, but you barely. And I know some people say, well, it's West Coast and all that, but
Shohei's
Lakers and all that.
Yeah, Shohei's on the West Coast,
right? So. Is it team wise? Is it more him?
I think it was a combination of he's just not someone that seeks the spotlight, but also the team has just been irrelevant. Mm-hmm. Like, the Angels just. It starts with ownership. Ownership is just bad.
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of sets the tone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I hate. I don't always like to say, is so and so bad? Is Miami back? But it's player wise, Mike Trout.
Texas back.
Yeah, Texas. That's the one. But, I mean, I never had a problem with Throttle. I was never annoyed with him or anything like that.
He's just a very kind of unassuming, kind of just quiet, goes about his business kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, I'm glad to see him kind of, performing at a high level right now. I know it's early, but we are approaching the first quarter of the baseball season next week already, Brandon. So, pump the brakes, full throttle right now. If you had to place a futures bet, 3 teams in the NL Central will make the postseason.
I'll full throttle that. Just numbers wise, I mean, all 5 are still above 500.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the Cubs are off to a fantastic start. Like,
as annoying as it is.
As annoying as it is, but like they're playing really good baseball, and especially coming off a 4-game sweep with the Reds. Like, when you can mop a division foe, that just goes even further. Mm-hmm. So I mean, barring something crazy, you got to figure that there's a good chance they could be one of those teams. I think the Brewers, we feel like, I mean, they're about. Actually, I think they're probably ahead of where they were last year at this point.
Probably, right? I mean, we know how they started, so
right. So, and then I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm to see one of those other 3. I still think of the 3. I would say maybe the Reds. So that would be the one I would say, but you never know. But still, I mean, they're in a decent spot to do it, so I'll say yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it happened last year. Right.
Right.
I mean,
and you got to feel like these teams are probably better, at least as collectively as they were last year.
Right. Yeah. So I would agree with that. But pump the brakes, full throttle. Should Anthony Edwards be the face of the NBA?
This is what I struggle with. Not honestly, nothing to do with Anthony Edwards, but like, because that's always something that has to organically develop. Mm-hmm. And like, you mean like, should they push him more as the face of the NBA? Like,
I guess so, because here's where Anthony Edwards to me moved up even. I've always liked Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
I don't have a real rivalry with the Timberwolves. No. It's just, to
me, it's like Brewers Twins, where since they're not in the same conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm not like full on fan or anything like that. But here's where Anthony Edwards kind of moved up a little bit for me. Is I've seen across the NBA superstars sitting out playoff games because they're sore, an ankle sore, hip is sore, all this, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember when we were younger watching NBA basketball in the 90s and people sitting out in the playoffs.
Charles Barkley said no because he had a sore ankle.
Right. Like this stuff. Anthony Edwards is pushing to play with that injury, so he moved up a little bit because he reminds me of an old school player. And I think in this whole Adam Silver NBA trying to limit load management and get guys to play more, you got a guy right there that's pushing to play while he's hurt. Make him your face. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I'm like, that's the example that we should be looking at.
I could see it for that reason then. So I'll say full throttle for that reason. I would agree with that logic.
Like worldwide, I get it. Victor Wembanyama, you probably want the international and all that. But I'm talking, if that's the message I want is, because when you have young kids using the phrase load management, that's not in a good way.
You're going to get to a Little League game and have a kid tell you they can't play because of load management?
Right. I mean, that's the thing. And that's where I look at it. Like, he moved up a little bit for me, just from the respect card. Like, you know what? Good. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know if there was like severe risk or anything, but from a fan standpoint, I appreciate that because KD, all these superstars or their best players missing random playoff games because they're dealing with something. And I don't doubt they probably are. But are you telling me Jordan, Malone, those guys in the 90s are missing playoff games? I don't think they are. And especially like in pivotal games where it's like you need a must win, you got to go out there and play. And I get it. It's the current NBA. I don't like it, though. It's kind of frustrating. I think if you're a fan of teams like that, too. So pump the brakes, full throttle. After you heard the press conference with Taylor Jenkins and Jimmy Haslam and John Horst, you feel worse about Giannis coming back. Like lower chances.
Right. It's weird because I was encouraged to hear how they phrased it, but you're right. That doesn't mean necessarily that, it seems to me that they have a clear vision for this, and I like that. But I would say, yeah, I mean, they weren't speaking. They could have very easily kind of, glossed up Giannis a lot there, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I would say, was it full throttle then?
Full throttle that you don't feel like your confidence maybe took a hit.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Yeah. To follow up, pump the brakes, full throttle. Does it seem like ownership wants to move on from Giannis more than Giannis wants to move on from Milwaukee?
Maybe.
Because my question is, if they really wanted Giannis, why can't they just say, we want Giannis?
Yeah.
I've never heard them come out and say, we want Giannis. I've heard them, we're going to do what's best for the Bucks and Giannis.
Yeah.
We're going to figure this out by then.
Yeah, you could very easily kind of come out with that and then kind of adjust if they can't, if they can't make it work.
Right. And I'm just, that to me is what's kind of standing out in this whole thing is I don't think I've heard an owner or a decision maker come out and just flat out say, of course we want Giannis back. Just like, when you hear all these other ones and you hear, GMs or coaches or all that say, well, duh, yeah, we want the guy. I don't think I've ever heard that. And that to me tells me is like, are they ready to just move on? Which if they're gonna blow the whole thing up and just do the OKC thing.
Right. I would agree. But that's kind of the thing with Taylor Jenkins where I kind of wonder because, he was, I think, the most proven coach on the market.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a solid hire. But I wonder, like, they had to have talked about that possibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. So, pump the brakes, full throttle. John Horst, just to kind of one more on this. John Horst said that Giannis was not involved. There was a weird line about that where, he kind of said, yeah, years past we had player input and, it was good and then it was bad. No players had input on this one. So I was like, is that almost like an indirect shot? Because everybody just assumed Giannis had input on like Adrian Griffin and all that, or Doc and that. But pump the brakes, full throttle. Because Bobby Portis, I know, said a couple weeks ago or a week ago, said, yeah, no, Giannis probably did have input. And I know the whole Instagram thing, Giannis was in town. And apparently he's in Appleton just a couple days ago, so he's still in Wisconsin getting ice cream in Appleton. But pump the brakes, full throttle. Do you believe, John Horst, that Giannis was not consulted about this hire?
Consulted, I do feel like somehow he was in the know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like they just completely shut him out. But I don't, if you're consulted about something, doesn't mean it necessarily has to be a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still feel like he was consulted a little bit. Just my opinion. I feel like he was, but
yeah.
And I don't know what's the point of coming out and not saying he is or is. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe because if they think if they say he was and then they trade him, they're thinking people are going to think that
he didn't want that hire,
right?
Or
something like that. Maybe
yeah.
Maybe then you're kind of setting up Taylor Jenkins to fail a little bit. Maybe that's it.
A little bit.
Maybe they're just kind of protecting everybody from everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I could see that too. I could see that. So, all right, but let's do. Do I want to do one more here? No, I think that's all I had. I'm just looking at my notes here. So, all right, that's your AEJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. We got to take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Summer is right around the corner, and that means it is time to freshen up your home from the ground up with Carpet City Flooring Center. Whether you are hosting some backyard get-togethers, opening the doors to family and friends, or just ready for a seasonal refresh, new flooring can completely transform your space. From soft, comfortable carpet to durable luxury vinyl planks, Carpet City Flooring Center has everything you need to bring your vision to life. And it's not just about the looks, it's about quality that you could count on and expert guidance every step of the way. Their team is ready to help you find the perfect fit for your style, your needs, and your budget. So before summer officially kicks off, make sure your home is ready to shine. Stop on into Carpet City Flooring Center today and take that first step towards a space that you will love all season long. Got somebody on our Section 105 chat on the video stream saying they're taking their dad to their first Brewers game since County Stadium. So that is really cool. That's pretty cool. So, I have a confession. I've never got to go to a game at County Stadium. I never did. Never got to go. So, but yeah, I'll be there Sunday for at least a little bit. So we'll see how long the kiddos. Just want to see Judge, and I think after he sees Judge, he'll be good.
Are you in right field?
Between first base and right field.
Okay.
On that side. So, yeah, we'll be over there. But, and then hopefully Contreras plays as well. So, because that's his actual favorite player in that. But as long as you're not there, so we can maybe actually win, that'd be really, really fantastic. Really good. So, but no, I'm excited to see Logan Henderson pitch. I mean, either one of these games, I think if you were going to, obviously tonight it's the Miz and Max Fried and such, but either one of these three, I mean, I think do you think these are like the three, we got to come up with a nickname, the three amigos, the future with these three starters going forward for the Brewers? Probably.
I mean, I think they're three of the guys that you're probably looking at with the promise of the young rotation that are probably kind of leading the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I would. I'm definitely excited about these two or these three pitchers going forward. And I think Kyle Harrison has looked awesome. I think, obviously Mizorowski, I think, has been off to a really good start. Luckily, last week after leaving the game early, it's just a cramp. So,
and then honestly, maybe the rainout was a good thing for him.
Yeah,
because it pushes him back a couple days, really, just to give him a little bit more time there.
Yeah, no doubt. So, but Yankees are a very good team, obviously. One of the best all-around complete teams, would you say? Offensively, pitching-wise, up there, too. So, I mean, it is what... Are they still considered the evil empire, or do you consider the Dodgers the evil empire?
I think I'd probably consider the Dodgers the evil empire now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what the Yankees' last championship was 2009.
Gosh, it may be, yeah. What's wrong with them? Jeez,
this is why Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone are kind of under the...
I feel like Brian Cashman's under the, every year.
It's like Wayne Fonts back in the 90s coaching the Lions.
I mean, I feel like Brian Cashman's been like on the seat ever since Joe Torre was still there as a manager for the Yankees. So, yeah, it feels like it's every year. Did you see, it was not a legit thing, but like MLB, I think it was MLB on Fox came up with a potential new realignment with the two expansion teams?
I think I did.
Do you want me to bring it back up?
Yeah, do it. I just remember not liking it.
What was it that you did not like?
Well, because
So Brewers would be going to the American League.
Which is fine. I mean, American League, National League doesn't really matter too much at this point.
With the DH thing, right?
Yeah, it's the same rules. So.
Yeah. They'd be in the American League Great Lakes with the Twins, Tigers, and Toronto. One hand, I like it because the one reason I do like it is just for one reason only. It would develop a rivalry with the Twins.
It would. That's the one good thing.
Mm-hmm.
More games against the Twins would be good.
Yep.
But
no Cubs.
Yeah.
You'd almost have to make sure you schedule it like a home and away like you do with the Twins already.
Right. And that maybe everyone had, if you still have kind of one crossover rival, I guess,
That and the Cardinals I would put in there.
But I think there's only one that's protected.
Oh.
That's the thing that kind of gets me. I don't like the idea of there not being a division rival of any kind in Chicago because of the proximity.
Yeah. Yeah. That one I would.
And going back to when
I'm sorry, but if you name something Great Lakes, you don't have a Chicago team either. That's
great. Yeah, and then you have Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
a little bit over there, but
bit, but
not Twins.
Yeah. What Great Lake is
Superior is the closest,
right? Because to me, the ideal because you'd be going with the 14 pods, kind of the division, whatever you want to say it. Logistically, to me, the best one, even though I don't think they would do this, would still be Twins, Brewers, Cubs, White Sox. But I don't think they would do that.
Yeah. Well, they got Cubs, White Sox in the NL Midwest.
Right.
They need to come up with better names because you have the National League Midwest and the National League Central.
Yeah.
You can't come up with something better than that.
Right. But I've seen people kind of spitball on this, but Twins is good to have as in the same division, but you need a Chicago team because even going back to when the Brewers were in the AL, the Brewers and the White Sox was a big rivalry. You need that one way or the other.
Yeah, the AL Northeast would just be
a gauntlet.
It's Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Phillies.
Right.
The one other thing, too, is like, okay, with this one, I kind of like maybe the Brewers' chances to compete in that division a little bit more, too.
A little bit.
Depending on what Toronto's going to be doing spending-wise or the Tigers. I mean, other than that, from a competition standpoint, it feels like Brewers would be in a good spot.
It's interesting that half of your teams in the 14 division are in a different time zone.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that either. Yeah. But, yeah, and this is if they have like a Charlotte and Portland team on
right.
There, so, but, yeah, if they do expand, it's going to be 2. Right?
Yeah, because they're at 30 now.
And then the 4-team pods on there?
Probably, because otherwise, just numerically, I don't know how you do it.
Right.
I mean, unless you do.
So would you expand playoffs then because of these divisions? Because you're adding another division, essentially.
I don't think I would. I wouldn't want to, but I'm sure they would find a way to do it.
So would you just take away one of those wild card teams and make it the division?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'd have 4 division winners and 2 wild cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But because otherwise, 32 teams, you could make. I mean, you couldn't really do like 8 teams because I don't think you could do 18 divisions because then you're getting, I think, too far into it. Where like you're probably going to have like teams from the Midwest. And it's essentially what you're into kind of right now with like the T-Wolves and like the NBA where they're in the West, but then they're lumped in so like they're playing so many late games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I don't think you could do that. So it's tough. Like 5 or 6 is the ideal number. It just doesn't work well with the math. Doesn't math with with that setup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, we got to take our final break as we start to wrap up the third quarter and the third hour. So we'll take that break and be right back to kind of wrap it up here after these quick words. Summer is almost here, and that means it is time to hit the road in something that you love. And at Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Looking for power, comfort, reliability, they've got it all backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure that you are riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. Speaking of Toyson Ford as such, we got the Express season starting up at the end of the month, too. So we're going to be doing something a little bit different this summer, too. We're going to be doing some Tailgate Thursday nights where we're going to be tailgating before the Express game. We'll have the mobile man cave up and such and just do a little tailgate event about an hour before the game starts. So I'm looking for ideas on some like giveaway stuff I could do, like some small giveaway stuff. Plus, I need some ideas for the golf swag bag item, too. So if you got anything, let me know. Got an idea. Don't break the bank here.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of a budget here, so just don't give me something expensive idea. But like, what's something I can give away at the tailgate?
Egg.
Like eggs?
Egg. Give away an egg.
Okay. No, thank you. I don't want to do that. Yeah, catch a little chickadee. I made the Bigfoot's mascot now too, so maybe some Bigfoot golfing stickers or something like that. Call him Winston.
Winston Bigfoot?
No, just Winston.
He has no last name. He's like Cher?
Just Winston. Yep. Bigfoot don't have last name. Or Big Feet don't have last names. Sasquatches don't have last names. Just Winston. So, yeah. But that should be fun. It'll start in June. Not every Thursday night, just a few Thursdays. So more details to come on that. So, but what do we got? We did Cream of the Crops. Did we do all of our fun segments already? We did. We powered through that in the 8 o'clock.
We got rid of all the fun stuff, folks.
Yeah. So what are you doing? Have a good. No, I'm just kidding. But I will get back to some more baseball talk here. And I know a little bit earlier we were talking about this stadium thing. So a little bit more on that criteria part. It was. Let me scroll on up because it's a long thing. Oh, for the love of Mary. Okay, no, that's not it either. I don't know where it went. I got like multiple things mixed up with this thing. But, okay, methodology. Here we go. It was we examined the language used in fan reviews, tracking specific keywords and phrases associated with negative stadium experiences. Each keyword was mapped to one of 6 categories: seating comfort, crowd and density, climate and environment, amenities and services, price and value, general frustration. I feel like the crowd shouldn't be a part of that because you want a big crowd, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
That.
Yeah, so then automatically are your larger stadiums going to get punished?
Right. Now, crowd dead, maybe like for lines, for concessions or something. I don't know, but...
Yeah. I just don't agree with their methodology for putting this together.
I don't either. It's not very scientific.
No.
Not at all. But,
it feels, I would say lazy, but it just feels like a way of doing it without actually putting that much work in. I mean, it's just like, we analyze this. Okay, so how did you analyze that? Did you just have like AI say like, hey, what's the...
Yeah. We've done can koozies, by the way, so I don't want to do can koozies. We've done those. Remember?
I've got a couple.
Those. Yeah, so we've done those before. So, but I think that's like the go-to for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But we've done
that's
that.
Easy. I mean, easy as I should say simple. Easy conveys like lazy. Simple is like it's good. Like because you can always use a can koozie. But yeah, but you're right.
Like you've done.
Right, I've got a container full of them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It can fit in your back pocket when you're going somewhere and you need a cold one. You're like, boom. Oh. You keep that. I got extras, right? You know.
It's like your business card.
Yeah, exactly.
Except it keeps things cold.
It keeps moderately cold, depending on which ones you have.
Yeah.
I think we need to bring back the big old foam ones. Remember those?
I've got a Hams one like that.
I've got a Packer one.
Like a thick one.
Yeah.
Where like it actually you have to use a little muscle to actually get it in there. Yep. Oh yeah, I've got a Hams one.
Uh-huh.
And that thing keeps things cold.
Those were like gas station, go to the gas station, you get a can.
Made from like foam.
Yeah. Yep. Those, bring back the old school ones of that. That would be, I know they make them, but still. Not the most convenient in terms of
they're just
portable.
They're not as portable.
Right.
But part of what makes them
nostalgia.
Well, I'll say also part of what makes them tough is what makes them good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you on that. So that would be a nice old school throwback.
It's like the old garage fridge.
Ah, yeah.
Like the 40-year-old fridge out in the garage that is still going to keep the beer perfect temperature.
Yep. I don't have a garage fridge, but I do have a fridge in the main cave, and that's attached. Do have a deep freezer in the garage because meat, deer, and all that. So, but got more deep freezers in the house than fridges. We've got 3 of them.
You're prepared.
You never know. All my kid eats is frozen pizzas, so I got to load up on that stuff when it happens, or chicken nuggets. So,
the 4 food groups,
pretty much. Yeah, keep them coming if you got any clever ideas, creative ideas. I was trying to think about this, and nothing's just really catching my eye from all the.
Because last year you did the towel, right?
Nope. Last year was the glasses.
It was the glass. That's right. I got it.
The Victory Scotch glasses.
That's right.
Yep. So I'm trying to think about what to do for this year. I know. Because we've done can koozies, we've done golf towels, we've done the glasses. What else did we do? We've done a couple more things because it's the 6th one. I can't remember what all we've done.
Yeah.
Towel, koozies, glasses. Oh, I'm blanking now. I can't remember it all, but anyways. I just had one idea, but I just forgot it. There you go.
A bottle opener.
Would anybody want that?
I don't know. That's like I have one on my keys, and I use it sometimes, but I don't use it a lot.
Yeah.
So
like I got one mounted in my man cave.
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did see because I want to get a backpack cooler. Just because, and I saw a really cool one that does have a bottle opener on it. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's sweet. But all right, time's running out. Send us your ideas if we like them. Maybe I'll send you something as a thank you too. So, all right, we'll take a quick break. We got some news updates here, and then we'll wrap it up with the final hour. Get back to some more baseball and some other nonsense that we got planned up here. So, we'll be right back in just a few minutes.